Hello and welcome again to BEEVARSITY. The good part about this is because we're a center of useful knowledge, we have been talking a lot about how to pass, how to become excellent, how to get good at your grades, how to be fantastic, how to become a model student, a model professional, model man of industry, a professional and stuff. What we haven't really discussed is how to fail an essay. Oh God, I can feel the sharpness of breath. Fail? Why would you be teaching us how to fail? Well, the thing is, a lot of people have lost confidence because of a failed assignment. But guess what? Sometimes failure is a natural path to success. It helps you to learn. So today we're going to talk about why people fail, and then the 10 steps they need to do to fix it so that they can start passing and writing good assessments. So if you have ever experienced any issue with an assessment, then today's video is for you and it will help you. Whether we have or we haven't, it will help you basically. So, why did you or anyone you know fail a module? What is a good or bad essay? We'll talk about it today. A quick question for everyone. After writing any assignment, can you guess or tell for sure the grade you're expecting? Are you going to get an A, a B, a C, or a D? Because at some point, you have to start knowing what you're going to get. Everyone who's fantastic at work or their essay knows when they've done good work and when they haven't. It shouldn't be an issue of, oh, I just finished this fantastic essay. And my teacher, after reading it, goes, oh, why is this? So remember the agenda today is we're going to talk about why essays fail, and then we'll give you an open secret to how you're going to start passing your essay, basically. So welcome again to BEEVARSITY, and hope you like the information. Give us a comment below or tell us what else you need to see, and then welcome to the Center for Useful Knowledge. So how? Why do people fail assessments, and how do they fail and why do they fail? Basically, why do people fail? Because it's bad assessment. Something like this. If it was being marked by hand, they'll probably get an F. A bit like the image here. Number one, they did not answer the question that was expected of them. Number two, there was no evidence that the person writing this essay researched properly. They didn't research widely, they didn't research extensively. So, if they cannot demonstrate that they read widely at least 10, 20 quality sources, then they will fail. Number three, they did not cite or reference correctly either. If it was Harvard style, was MLFI, whatever they didn't. Number four, there's just evidence of poor grammar and spelling. Did not display any understanding of the subject matter. The top keywords were not displayed. Number six, they were being too subjective. So sometimes they might have written something good, but they were putting their opinions too much in it, and they're not an expert yet. So it results in a bad grade. Number seven, they just fail to express the knowledge required to pass. Now, how do you know the knowledge required to pass? Well, it's original. If it's not original, then it's considered an essay from hell. That's been extreme, but yeah. It's too subjective, it's biased, the person is an expert, it does not adhere to the rules. What are the rules? All right, they did not cite properly, they did not reference properly, they were referencing some Harvard style, Chicago style, MS style. There's no consistency in their work. Grammar was poor, they didn't proofread and correct any spelling mistakes. Number six, there's just no evidence of quality research. All they did is went to internet sources and got anything got from the internet and just poured it in their work. So number seven, it now resulted in having poor structure and too much repetition. Sometimes you'll see every paragraph will start with according to blah blah, according to blah blah, according to. There's too much repetition. There's no creativity. It's not. following, it's not going well. It's just all over the place. So, and then sometimes there's plagiarism, cut and paste. The person is doing the work in a hurry, so they just cut everything, paste it. And then there's a lot of research that's already discussed a certain topic, maybe from the last 3 years, but they're talking outdated views. So the views are so outdated that it's the evidence that they haven't read enough. The sources they have used are also very relevant to the topic because they've just gone and gotten internet sources. And that is why and how people feel. So, in summary, why and how bad essays or assessments are written. It's just no structure. Sometimes they're block, sometimes they're writing paragraphs, essays all over the place. It's not concise, the knowledge is distorted, it's cut and paste, it's limited, it's not focused. Number two, number three, it's not cited, it's boring, it's rambling, it's descriptive, it's not analytical. Number four, there's no good punctuations, there are no paragraphs, it's just one long paragraph beginning to end, which makes it a tedious read. Number five, there are no definitions for any of the keywords, there's no evidence, there's no examples, there's no statistics, there's no framework. Number six, there's no models, there's no case scholars. Number seven, there's no critical review, it's just one sided from beginning to end. Number eight, the person is writing the first person using I this, I that, personal opinions, because they're not an expert. And then number nine, there's so much mistakes. Oh, there's too much copy pasting, not enough paraphrasing, just no good proofreading, no good referencing, and a bad bibliography list. I saw recently someone wrote an essay and just put a lot of web links as their reference list. That is bad. They put it in the body of the work, that's bad as well. That is what we call a boring essay. Would you watch a boring or bad movie? Most people won't. So, what we want to know is the open secret. The open secret to how you will start passing is a change in mindset. What does the change in mindset require? Anything worth doing is worth doing well. So you have to read. You have to read plenty of books in your subject data. That's when you gain valuable life skills. Read extensively. It shouldn't be a matter of Amanda says, Teacher, you failed your exam, the teacher says. And then Amanda says, No, you failed to teach me. Whose duty is it to learn the knowledge? There's always this debate. But guess what? Let's think about this for a second. If you failed, is it your fault? Is it the fault of the teacher who failed to teach you? Well, guess what? For and against. Everyone will have good points to give for and against. Just, no need to offend anyone here. I don't want to offend anyone. But guess what? Look at it this way. In 5 years' time, if you fail your assessment and you don't get to your goal, will you even remember who your teacher was? Do you remember all your teachers? You remember some, not all. But also, is anyone looking at your report going to say, oh, yeah, Mrs. Patel failed to teach this man or woman properly? Not really. They're only going to be looking at the student and going, oh, God, what a bad student who couldn't learn. The reason being, you can't blame your teachers for failing to teach you. The job of a teacher is to introduce a concept to you 20%. The rest of the 80%, it's your job to actually go and read it and get good and autonomous. There's this saying, the teacher only appears when the student is ready to learn. You can force a horse to water, but you can force it to drink. So a teacher 20% is taking the horse to the water. The horse not being ready to drink, it's purely of their own volition. If you do not learn anything, it is not the fault of your teacher. Guess what? It is your fault. Yes, it is. Because knowledge is self taught. All the big knowledge gurus of those days were all self taught. No one taught them anything. So, no, well, some people taught them, but they learned themselves. And you learn that anytime you get good at anything, it's because you learned it by yourself, or they introduced it to you and you learned it by yourself. And that's one of the reasons why a change in mindset today is it doesn't matter what your friends think you're doing or what your teachers think you're doing, if you're reading, what side thinks you're doing, your classmates think you're doing, or what you think you're doing. If you know that you're really not reading and gaining the knowledge, then you have to think about the fact that you don't pass if what you're given is fake and lazy assignments. Because what is truth is something that's real in academic work. Is the work you're given undistorted, quality undistorted knowledge? That's when you get academic success. Anything else is secondary. Okay, right. So we want the truth. We want you to tell the truth. And truth is you learning by yourself. We want you to be able to read, fact check, find truth, and become a professional. So, the open secret is if you give accurate knowledge and you don't give distorted knowledge, you will pass. If you're not interested in just being lazy, do it for 9%, you put in 100%. If you have a success mindset, if you're professional rather than professional, if you don't cut corners and teach, you will be a good person who will pass. Because the thing is, assignments and exams are not the only judge of success in the world. But guess what? They're a judge for who is most likely to become a good friend, parent, partner, neighbor, employee, entrepreneur, leader, citizen, or any example for generations. So it's your choice what you choose to do. Are you going to be good or are you going to cut corners? It's up to you. So that's the reason why the open secret to good academic grades is accurate knowledge, understanding the market mindset, understanding success versus failure, planning and delivering excellence, and going just above and beyond in whatever you do. This is how you pass. You master the open secret fundamentals, you lead to academic success. We do have a video on how to write a first class essay. You can have a look at that because what we don't want you to do is to fail any assignment ever again. Once you master these fundamentals, you will never fail. You will always pass. And how do you pass? Guess what? All you need to do is put in the work. How do you write a good essay? You need to put in the work. Carefully plan what you need to do. As they say, fail in the plan is planning to fail. Make sure you go for original research, extensively understand the topic, because if you don't write well, it means you don't understand the topic yet. So ask your lecturer, ask your teacher. Do not go asking your students. They're good, but sometimes they may take you along a different path. Before starting anything, understand what you're doing. As they say, start with the end in mind. Have themes, write concisely, ensure your sources are cited, use key scholars in your field, use synonyms just to detail and preview your work, apply your assignment brief, apply your school markers rubric. Make sure you have a good foundation because guess what? When you're building a house, look at that, and the foundation will make sure the structure is good to stand. If the foundation isn't good, everything's going to fall apart, and that's for a bad essay. A good essay, well, good foundation, good structure, good essay. You have a good, clear central idea. Each paragraph has to have a clear main point, a topic. You have to proofread. You have to have unlimited revisions. You have to have good narrative structure, critical review, good arguments, extensive evidences and sources. And what is extensive academic evidences and sources, by the way? Well, extensive academic evidence sources are things like good narrative data, number one. Number two, you have good facts in your work. Number three, you have models, you have images, you have tables. Number four, you have critical arguments, and then different perspectives. And we'll go back to number three. Every subject under the sun has got a framework developed by a scholar. Find it, review it. Number five, Even if you're using quotes, just use it from primary sources. Put the page numbers. Number six, every subject must have statistical data. Go to Statistica. Is that what it's called? Statista. Yeah, sorry. Get their data there. Use real life examples and have all right, use respected sources and stories. All right, so what is an authoritative citation and reference source? Your core textbook, expert academic published material, journals, peer reviewed, industry sites, reputable online sources, interviews, um, conference papers, academic conferences, reports, good presentations. Do not use, please, your lecture notes. We see people doing a lot of that. That is lazy. You're not supposed to parse if all you're using is your lecture notes. You have a core textbook, use that. Why on earth are you using your lecture notes? That's lazy. And then number eight, professional websites. Use professional websites. Use academic sources. Government websites have a lot of a ton of good statistics and public sector materials. And then number 10, I would think who wrote this material? What is the reason why they wrote it? Because that will give you an inkling to whether this material is biased and it should be used or not. And the material you want to use, is it properly referenced and documented? Number 11, evaluate all the sources, support all the reliable evidences, the facts, the data, statistics, and make sure it refers to previous research. So that's how you pass. You get a good essay when you have structured titles, introduction, the body, a conclusion. You have good researched evidences, it's concisely written, it's not repetitive, it's not making overlong sentences. Number three, it's well cited, it's engaging, it's a good read, it's applied. Applied just means it has good paragraphs, logical, beautiful to look at, it's good to read. It defines all the key words with evidences and real life examples. Number six, it's got frameworks and models and key scholars. I'm talking about entrepreneurship, I should be able to talk about Sean Peter. If we're talking about management, I should talk about Peter Drucker. If I'm talking about project management, I should be able to talk about PMI and Prince 2. Just key things. And then everything should be critically reviewed. That means I'm giving all different perspectives, the pros and cons perspective. Number eight, I'm writing the third person, no first person pronouns, just formal language, no informal, now I'm, don't. Instead, I'm saying things like do not, write formally. And then number nine, everything's paraphrased properly with good synonyms, no cut and paste, just proofread, edited, plenty peer reviewed references and bibliography. So, this is what we do. At the end of the day, the best tip I would give you is emulate what the best four-star journals in your topic and field are doing. Read a lot of journals. Sometimes when you start reading them, they may start a bit boring, but guess what? Start with the abstract, the introduction, the conclusion, and then read the whole body, and sooner or later you'll become an expert. All the four-star journals in your field are world leading. They're original, they're significant, and they give rigor. So cite more four-star journals in your field. It's something like this. That's journal. What is truth? Look at how well it's written aesthetically. It looks good to the eyes. Have blogs. Cite. You can never oversight. So guess what? It is not rocket science. The key to passing all your assessment is good structured